Welcome back. Okay, are you ready to continue? Let's continue. Number 1, I'm starting where I left off before. I'm going to start now where I left off 5 minutes ago. I'm going to start where I left off, double F, where I left off 5 minutes ago. Ella me habló hasta convencerme. She talked me into it. Let me tell you a true story. I'm here teaching on television because a guy by the name of Jaime talked me into it. The last thing in the world I wanted to do 1 year ago was to teach on television. I'm too busy running a business, teaching on the radio, and other things to spend time in a television studio teaching English to a cold, aseptic camera. Okay. But my good friend Jaime talked me into it. He talked me into it. Me comió el coco. Yeah. He began to praise me. He began to say good things about me. Me elogiaba. Jaime knows my weak point. So he began to apelar to my vanity. And finally, he achieved his objective. He talked me into coming here every day and giving these English classes on television. He talked me into it. He talked me into it. Okay. He talked me into it. This is very common in English. It sounds like a strange expression. Técnicamente parece muy extraña esta expresión. Me habló dentro de ello. Literalmente, he talked, pasado, he talked me into it. All right? And now I'm here. But my wife, when she found out, and she said, television, encima. On top of everything else you do, you're going to do television now? Well, go back and tell Jaime no. I said, but I can't, I promised. Go back and tell him that you can't do it. I said, I can't go back and tell Jaime that I'm not going to do it. How did Jaime talk you into it, Richard? Well, I don't know. Did he appeal to your vanity? Did he say nice things about you? That's the easiest way to get things from you. If I want to talk you into doing something, I know how to do it. So my wife tried to talk me out of it. Que es convencerme para que salga de ello. She tried to talk me out of it. Para que deje esa idea. For example, if your best friend wants to invest all of his savings in a dangerous financial instrument, you would say, Manolo, don't put all your money in that. Well, why not? The return on the investment is very good, but it's a dangerous investment, and you need to talk to Manolo for a few minutes to talk him out of it. So Jaime talked me into doing this program. My wife tried to talk me out of it, but it was too late. He had talked me into it, and she didn't manage to talk me out of it. Okay. Ella me habló, o él en este caso me habló hasta convencerme. He talked me into it. Y me alegro de que me hayas hablado para convencerme de lo contrario. I'm glad you talked me out of it. All right. Number 3, no puedo captar lo que dicen. Quiet. I can't make out what they're saying. You put your ear to the wall, your neighbors. Something's going on. Something strange is going on in our neighbor's house. Yeah? What? I don't know. Just a second. And you put your ear up against the wall. El up sobre. You put your ear against the wall. Pero solemos decir up against. You put your ear up against the wall and you listen. Es que no capto lo que dicen. I can't make out what they're saying. To make, como hacer, to make out. I can't make out what they're saying. I think they're talking about, no, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're talking about. They are, contracción there. I don't know what they're talking about. I think they're talking about food, but I can't make out what they're saying. I can't make out what they're saying. Okay? So, captar, poder captar is to be able to make out. No puedo divisar quién eres. Manolo? María Eugenia? I can't make out. I can't make out if you're María Eugenia or María Luisa. Who are you? Okay, to make out is divisar visualmente also. I can't make out who it is. Somebody's coming in the distance, but I can't make out who it is. I can hear something in the next room, but I can't make out what they're saying. Okay? No te quedes atrás, eh? Don't fall behind. Jimmy, how old are you? You're 13 years old. And in your mathematics class, what are you studying? What are you studying in maths class? Algebra. Algebra. Is this your first year in algebra? Uh-huh. Okay. And do you understand it? No, not very well. But have you spoken to your teacher? No. Do you want me to speak to your teacher? No. Well, then I think you should speak to your teacher, Jimmy, because it's important. It's tremendously important. It's critical in your first year of algebra not to fall behind. Not to fall behind. If you fall behind, it can have an impact on the rest of your life. In mathematics, there's a point in the educational system in which people take two different paths. In primary school, everybody follows basically the same path. When you start middle school or secondary school, the paths branch into what you call ciencias y letras. Okay, people who go a mathematical or analytical, quantitative or scientific route, and people who take a humanistic, liberal arts, and less scientific route. And often the breaking point is around the age 13 or 14. And often people who go on the humanities route, it's because at that juncture where it separates, they had either a bad mathematics teacher who was teaching algebra and the child didn't understand anything, or the young person was not psychologically or mentally mature enough. Children grow at different speeds and they mature intellectually at different ages. We have an expression in English called a late bloomer. To bloom is florecer. Okay? If you buy a dozen roses, sometimes you buy the roses and the bulbs are closed. And you put the roses into water, and within 2 days, the roses bloom. B-L-O-O-M, como habitación, room, quitando la R, poniendo BL, bloom. Okay? And a person can bloom. Una persona puede florecer, intelectualmente, o físicamente, o deportivamente, to bloom. Okay? And some people bloom at certain ages, and other people bloom at other ages to bloom. A late bloomer, literalmente tardío florecedor, okay, is a person whose abilities manifest themselves later than the majority of their peers or classmates. And this is a problem for the educational system. In every country, the educational system is designed to present certain subjects and certain skills and certain demands at a certain age. Fijaos que siempre digo certain. Cuando yo vine a España, noté algo que me llamó la atención. La palabra determinado. Voy a usar un determinado micrófono en un determinado clase. I don't always use this microphone. See, Usaré un micrófono determinado en un tipo de clase determinado. Okay? And esta palabra determinado. Okay? And well, in English, we say something quite similar, certain. I use a certain microphone in a certain type of class. I drink certain kinds of water in certain types of classes. This is a big pen. It's a relatively cheap pen, but it's a good pen, very good. But I use certain pens, certain kinds of pens in certain kinds of classes. Certain. Okay? Now, certain students, ciertos estudiantes, hay determinados estudiantes que maduran a determinadas edades. There are certain students who mature at certain ages, and there are other students who mature at other ages. And the educational system is not flexible. It can't be. It's very difficult to inject sufficient flexibility in the public education to allow for this. It depends on many times on different teachers who perceive this in the classroom and can adapt to different levels of maturity or abilities in the students. And a late bloomer, when they come to the juncture at age 13, it usually coincides with algebra, where you have variables, okay? And if the teacher is bad at that point in mathematics, many people who otherwise would go in science or engineering or mathematics go in humanities because they had a bad teacher. Or the teacher is good or normal, but some children are not intellectually mature enough to start algebra. And so we have that problem. No te quedes atrás. Se dice mucho en estos casos para niños. Don't fall behind. Don't fall behind in class. Don't fall behind at school. All right? Because if you fall behind, in some subjects you can catch up. In other subjects it's almost impossible to catch up. Me, when I was 13, I remember very well my first mathematics, my first algebra semester, and it was horrible. I fell behind. I fell behind. Later, and so I went the route of humanities. Now I'm a language teacher. Later, when I was 31, I did an MBA, a 2-year MBA, Master in Business Administration, and I needed to learn algebra well in order to pass the subjects of statistics and decision-making analysis through quantitative methodology, quantitative decision analysis, and statistics. And I needed to learn algebra again, okay? And at age 31, it was very easy. And it was fascinating. I loved it. And I reached the conclusion that if I had had, pasado el condicional, si hubiera tenido, if I had had a good teacher of algebra at age 13, I probably would have gone the route of mathematics or science or engineering and not the route of humanities. If I had had a good teacher, or if I had started algebra perhaps 1 year later when I was more mature intellectually. Okay. No te quedes atrás. Don't fall behind. Con el verbo to fall. También se caer atrás, literalmente. No caigas atrás. Don't fall behind. También cuando uno se enamora usamos fall. Don't fall in love. It's dangerous. No te enamores. Don't fall in love. Do you remember Elvis Presley? Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. I can't help, lo que decía Elvis Presley, I can't help no significa no puedo ayudar, significa no puedo evitar enamorarme de ti. I can't help. Los sabios dicen cuidado, pero yo no puedo evitar. Okay? Wise men say only fools, solo los tontos entran atropelladamente en estos asuntos. Only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. To fall in love is enamorarse. Don't fall in love. It's dangerous. The only thing can happen, my friend, if you fall in love is to suffer a broken heart. How many times have you suffered a broken heart? How many times have you broken another person's heart? Falling in love is dangerous. It should be prohibited. We should eliminate the concept completely. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me? Okay. To fall in love, fall in love. Oh, I think I'm falling in love. To fall in love. All right. Fall, fell, fallen. I've never fallen in love. Last year I didn't fall in love. But the year before I fell in love, etc. To fall. Okay, basta muy deprisa. No puedo seguir el ritmo. You're going very fast. I can't keep up. I can't keep up. This class is going too fast. Richard. Yes? Listen, can I talk to you for a second? Yeah, sure. What is it? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Listen, would you mind going a bit more slowly? Why? I can't keep up. Why not? I don't know. I find it hard. You go very fast, in my opinion. I can't keep up. I can't keep up. I'm falling behind. I'm falling behind. I can't keep up. No puedo mantenerme al ritmo de la clase y estoy cayendo atrás. Estoy quedando atrás. Okay? Me estoy quedando atrás. I'm falling behind because I can't keep up. You're going too fast. What can I do? Well, listen. After this class, do you study? Well, to tell you the truth, frankly, I don't. Well, you don't study. Well, then don't complain. If you can't keep up, it's because you're not studying. You're not taking it seriously enough. And if you want to take this class seriously, then you need to start studying. And if you start studying, then you'll catch up. To catch up. Okay, here we have three concepts. To fall behind, to keep up, and to catch up. And we can add a fourth concept, to move ahead. Okay, let's look at a race. Let's look at the 1,500 meters, or the 10,000 meters, a long race. 24 laps. 24 vueltas al estadio, la pista. 24 laps. Okay? Now, if you fall behind in lap number 7, it's not necessarily a problem. It depends on how far behind you fall. If you fall behind by 200 meters, you have a problem because it will take you at least 10 laps to catch up. To catch up. If one person is ahead of you and you're behind, well, it's clear if you want to win the race, you first need to catch up and then move ahead. Okay? Let's imagine that you are going to run the 10,000 meters. Okay? And I tell you, if you don't win this race, okay, I'm going to kill your family. And so for you, it's absolutely critical. You must win the race. And so you start running in the race and you start falling behind. It's very clear that you need to find a way to catch up and move ahead. You can't afford to fall too far behind, all right? But when you catch up and you come even is nivelado, you come even with the person in front, and then you need to keep up, and then finally you need to move ahead, all right, to win the race. Now, to keep up is mantenerse con ritmo. To fall behind is caer atrás, quedarse atrás. To catch up is ir alcanzando de nuevo, alcanzar al primero, to catch up, okay, catch up. To catch is coger, o apresar, to catch. To catch up is ir recuperando la posición mediante el alcanzar el que está en primer lugar, to catch up. For example, worldwide, in soft drinks, Coca-Cola is number 1 and Pepsi-Cola is number 2. Both of them are excellent soft drinks, but traditionally Coca-Cola is number 1 and Pepsi-Cola is number 2. Pepsi-Cola is always playing catch-up, trying to catch up with Coca-Cola. And so Pepsi Cola is making always a very strong effort to catch up. And when it catches up, to keep up, mantenerse. And if possible, to move ahead. And if Pepsi Cola passes Coca-Cola and becomes the #1 soft drink in the world in market share, participación o penetración de mercado, in market share, then Coca-Cola needs to catch up again. Okay? And then hopefully move ahead for them. Okay, no te quedes atrás is don't fall behind. No puedo seguir el ritmo. I can't keep up. I can't keep up. No hace falta decir with the pace. I can't keep up with the pace. Con el ritmo. Pace escrito. Es como el paso. I can't keep up with the pace, or I can't keep up. Vas muy deprisa. No puedo seguir tu ritmo. I can't keep up with you. No puedo seguir tu ritmo aquí. I can't keep up with you. You're going way too fast. All right? I can't keep up. Si no les alcanzas tú, ganarán la carrera. If you don't catch up with them, they'll win the race. Eh? Do you want to win the race? Are you interested in winning? Are you interested in winning? Well, then you need to find a way. You need to find a way. You need to find a way to catch up. You need to find a way to catch up, my friend, because you're behind. Te has quedado muy atrás. You're behind. You have fallen behind. And that's not an alternative. You have to catch up, and then you have to move ahead and win. That's the only alternative. Winning is the only thing that counts. Losing never counts. And it doesn't matter how well you play the game. The question is to win, right? Always. Me caí al agua. I fell into the water. Yes, to fall. There's water in this cup. Imagine this cup is a swimming pool, and you're standing on the side of the swimming pool and you fall. Okay? Entonces tu cuerpo hace movimiento hacia el agua, tú. Y luego dentro, entras en el agua, into. Into es una preposición que no existe, no puede existir solo. Tiene que estar enganchado a un verbo de acción, o sobre todo desplazamiento o movimiento. To go into, to come into, to walk into, to look into, okay? To look into my pocket, to look into, all right? To talk somebody into, okay? Into no significa dentro de. He visto muchas veces el error aquí. Para decir, él está en la habitación, o dentro de la habitación, dice, he is into the room. Impossible. I am in this studio. In, not into. I'm in this studio because an hour ago, I came into this studio. Y digo came, y no go, porque ha sido viniendo para acá, no yendo para allá. Okay, I'm in this room because I came into the room. The pen is in the water because I have just put the pen into the water. Into va con el verbo to put, que es ir insertando, ir introduciendo. Okay? The pen is in my pocket because I have just put it into my pocket. Okay? I'm looking into my pocket now. I'm looking into my hands, okay? I'm looking into the matter. I'm going to look into the matter, don't worry. Voy a investigar el asunto. Literalmente, supongamos que este taza es el asunto y yo miro dentro. I look into, pero into va con el verbo to look. No puedo usar into sin un verbo delante. Into siempre es parte de un verbo compuesto. Nunca está solo. Y nunca está con el verbo to be, salvo en muy raras excepciones. You cannot say, I am into the room. No, I'm in the room. And the only time you can say, I am into, is usually the drugs. Estoy metido en drogas. I'm into drugs. Pero también estoy metido en cosas buenas. Pues I'm into contemporary art. Como muy aficionado a ello. I'm into contemporary art. But except for that, into never is worth the verb to be. Never. Okay. Is the class over? Is the time up? I think it is. Okay. I'll see you again another day. In the meantime, a estudiar, study, okay?